My beautiful viewers on E360, how are you feeling? I am over the moon because my most favorite person in Arizona is here. I cannot wait for us to delve deeper into her and to her book. But first of all, I want to welcome all of you to a new show with our beautiful spotlight author, Natalie McQueen. And actually, Natalie, I should have, just give me 1 second. Oops, oops, oops. I should have added this to my list. Just give me 1 second. There, doesn't work. It doesn't work. Thank you, my beautiful Natalie McQueen. That's what I wanted to do. And then I've
Mhm.
got our beautiful panelist here as well. Beautiful Mike. I call him my miracle man and my empowerment lady. So my beautiful miracle man, can you introduce yourself? And then Laura. And then we will go to beautiful Natalie.
Thank you, my beautiful dancing queen butterfly, Sanette. We're so happy to be here on the author journey, and this one's family. All right, Natalie is family. Okay, she is like a sister, at least to me, and I adore her. And this is we're going to dig deep today on her beautiful talent.
Okay. So I think it's on our side, or is it on my
As
side?
an
The internet is a little sketchy.
So Laura,
Can you
you can
guys hear me?
yes, you can introduce yourself, Laura. I'm so sorry, Howard, your
Yes.
internet is
I'm
breaking up.
hoping you guys, yep, you can hear me. Oh, oh
So Laura,
no.
please introduce yourself.
Is this my connection or is it on you?
Now, you please introduce yourself. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
beautiful, beautiful. Hi, welcome, Natalie. Such a pleasure. I am Laura Brennan Ballet. I'm a thought energy empowerment leader and expert. I believe in the written energy and how it activates our thought energy to really create this beautiful experience of storytelling. And what I love, Natalie, about this book is we've added in this layer of this near death experience that you've gone through. And I am super excited to just spotlight you today. So, pleasure to have you
Thank
here.
you. Well, thank you, my beautiful Laura. My beautiful Natalie, can you introduce yourself, please, to us and tell us how it feels for you to be our spotlight author on episode 14?
Right? Well, thank you. I am so thrilled to be here today. I'm usually on the other end. My name's Natalie McQueen. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and my company is Gifts of Legacy Publishing. And so I'm used to spotlighting authors and getting visibility for them. So this is really fun for me. And I wrote my book a couple years ago, and I love the impact that you can make with your story. And so I love what you guys are doing is really going deep in someone's story and bringing out, the pieces that will hook into people and get them as followers and people that want to make changes in their life. So,
You just gave me goosies. You gave me goosebumps. Thank you, my beautiful Natalie. And I'm so privileged to have you here today. So I am going to show and tell, show and tell. This is beautiful Natalie's book. And may I read what you have written for me in the front?
aw.
May I? May I?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Oops, a daisy. Oops, a daisy. Sanette, you are truly my soul sister from South Africa. Wishing you abundance in all areas of your life and live and preserve your best legacy to impact the world. Love you, Natalie, your soul sister from Arizona. My beautiful Natalie, throughout your book, you gave so many golden nuggets why we need to um, leave something. So I truly are blessed to be able to have this signed copy from you. And I know you have done this for a reason. The one thing that I want to say when you talked about on the Diamond Beauties about legacy, the one thing is that we don't have my grandmother's recipes.
Right.
And that is still today an impact on me. And I said to you, wow, not even thinking about that. So
Yeah.
if you can just from your side tell what experience of feedback did you receive from the people that have read through your book that
So,
have that gained knowledge like me, recipes? I didn't even think about that.
yeah. Well, let me just back up a bit because before I wrote my book, I never really had a desire to write a book. I was helping authors and I love the marketing and getting their story out and helping them feel that they can put all the pieces together and become an international best-selling author. And after I had my near-death experience in Cuba, it I came back and it was just one thing after another that it was like, wow, I was unprepared here. My heart story wouldn't, did my daughters know how much they love or that I love them? Do I have anything just to thank the people in my life that mean so much? It was just, and then the passwords to my computer to get all our family photos and just on and on. And it was like this heavy weight. And I thought, okay, you know what? I need to follow my own directions, step up, and write my own book. And what's really funny about it is when I wrote my book, I was publishing 8 other authors' books. So mine came very last. And as the deadline came, I had taken the time and did a really good framing, and that's what I help authors with. But I would wake up at 3 in the morning going, I have to um, take time and write my own book, you know? So I would get up sometimes at 3 in the morning, and my office was out in the casita. And it was kind of a longer, probably a 12 or 14-foot room. And I would look at my framing outline of my book and go, okay, I'll talk about chapter 7. And I would hit record and I would walk back and forth, and I would talk the story. And then I would send it to myself. And then I would try to go over it because I always joke that Siri doesn't always understand Canadian. So while it's fresh in my mind, I wanted to look over the manuscript. And that's really how I got my book done. Um, so for people out there that say, I could never write a book, if you're a true storyteller or you love sharing experiences that have happened in your life, you're an author. And of course, you want to bring in professional editing and stuff. But what really changed it for me is, finally getting my book done. And then I was in a publishing mastermind for years, and I had a couple publishing friends. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to publish my own book. I'm going to let her publish for me. And that way I get the full experience of not having to worry about my own categories. And of course, we did it together. And so when my book hit international bestseller, I truly got to celebrate as the individual author would. And then when I got a few emails from strangers, and one of the emails was from an older gentleman that said, you truly got me to look at legacy differently. I always thought it was kind of monetary. What am I going to leave for my children and grandchildren and assets and stuff? And he said, you made me cry. And I am now recording myself and doing different things to leave life lessons, stories of my youth for my grandchildren.
Mm,
Right there was a
beautiful.
pivotal moment for me. Let go of all the what if someone doesn't like my book? Let go of I'm not a professional writer. Let go of all those things that we get caught up in. Share your story, and the right person is going to read a part of it. And it could be just a quote, it could be, one experience that you've had, and it will change their life. His grandchildren are going to have videos of him talking about stories in his life because of my book. And that's
Mm,
where I love, and I tell that story so often because it shows that A, anyone can write a book, and B, when you put your mind to it and you think about um, the messages and your life experiences that make the same things that we all do different, or a
mm.
different perspective, right? I didn't have that same perspective before coming into Cuba. Going out of Cuba, my mindset was like completely different.
So which one can I press?
What's the other one? The easy button. Yeah, we can make it
And then this one is,
uh,
so I'm gonna press the easy button because you said, and look, Howard also put on his glasses because he said anybody can write their own book. So here it goes.
That was easy.
Can you hear it?
yep.
That was easy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, my beautiful Natalie. Howard, let us see if your internet behaves itself. You are welcome to go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm so sorry. That's just the internet gods. I shut down everything. But I'm Howard Brown. I'm Mr. Shining Brightly. We are sparkling together today. The spotlight is on you, and we are going to share your wisdom and with the world. And so we've become very close friends. And I really got to, in reading this, I really took stock of where I am because, like you, I dictated my book. Okay. I dictated my memoir, Shining Brightly. And this is my memory. This is my legacy. And it's valuable. And it's only one part of your legacy. It's a
Right.
big part because it took 3.5 years for me. But the question I have for you, Natalie, is that in writing this book, this is going to be answers for differently, but it may be some feedback you've gotten. What do you want people to remember you about?
Yeah.
What is that?
Exactly what Sinette said. So all of our families, I think one of the things that I've always said is when we learn about other cultures and other people and other countries and what they do differently and what they do similar, I truly believe that most of our hearts are close to the same. We want the same good for our family. We want love in our life. We want to be appreciated. We want to, give to other people and feel like we matter. And so I think in writing the book, I wanted to tell a story of here was someone on the hamster wheel of life going at 100 miles an hour. I had a good life. I really did. But when that happened to me, and it took me right off the hamster wheel of life to a point where it was like, I, I almost didn't make it. I almost came back from Cuba in a coffin. And how would that have affected my family, right? And so I think getting people to slow down, sorry,
It's
take a
okay.
breath, analyze where you are in your life, and then look at taking that time for that bucket list, what I call the legacy list. And that could be what you want to accomplish. That could be what you want to be remembered for. That could be, I want to jump out of a plane and skydive. It can be all of it. But take that time and put that together and then analyze and go, okay, we've got some work to do. What do I want to put as priority? And then how am I going to get there? And sometimes we realize the daily grind that we're doing, we're not happy with. And I'm not saying quit your job, quit your marriage, and just run off. I'm saying analyze where you are. And then if you are in an unhappy job, what would make you happier? What could you transition? Say you were in a paid job that you go to every day and you always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Could you take an hour a day to work at that and transition? Did you always want to go and travel across Europe with a backpack? Start planning that out. Look at the hotels you want to hit. Look at the sites along the way. Plan your path as if it's going to happen. Figure out the money you need. And maybe it's not a financial thing holding you back. Maybe it's time off work. Maybe it's your spouse doesn't want to go. Could you go with a friend? And then look at, and I think, because I have such a wonderful husband, and I think what hit hard, and I still struggle with working too long, but seeing that many of the things I was doing for others, spending my time, I don't want to say wasting, but not being as productive as I could, which meant I would extend my hours where I could have been having family time, having more date nights with my husband, having those things. So when you stop and reflect and go, what would be my ideal day? What would be my ideal life? What do you and your spouse want to do together? What do you want to do on your own? What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to go back to school? Or do you want to take belly dancing? Like, whatever you want, start doing it now. You don't want to be 90 and turn around and go, oh, I was going to backpack across Europe and now I'm walking with a walker. You don't want those regrets. And I think, Howard, going back to your question, that is the biggest thing. Create your life that you want, start living it, and then preserve it for the future.
I absolutely. So I thought about this because it's when you look back, look current, and look forward, I think what you created is a blueprint to really taking stock and living a purposeful life. And I just want to tell you, it's beautiful. People can take action on it at any point as to where they're at. And that is the point, is to start now.
Yeah. Start now. And guess what? If you go on a journey and you're like, no, create a new journey. It's your life to create, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. We're shining brightly.
Goosebumps, goosebumps.
The only ones I have here. I don't know if you can see them or not.
Well, wait till you see Laura's.
Ooh.
Laura?
Yeah.
Oh, where are your little
Look at
glasses?
mine.
He's got dollhouse glasses today.
Very cute.
I have to. There's a story behind that, but I don't have my typical shades, so I had to borrow some grandbaby's little doll glasses. So, Natalie, there's so much in this book that has just touched so many aspects of my thought process. The quotes, whether they're from Les Brown, Jim Rohn, but something was triggered in me because I'm always about empowering the listening audience. And I'm curious to your thoughts to this. The late, great, beautiful Dr. Wayne Dyer used to talk about this on PBS specials, how he would say, don't wait for the tragedy to happen in order to live that life, be on purpose, really tap into that part of you. But yet so many of us, probably most of us, do wait for something, right, to really hit the wall before we awaken to that aspect. So, two-part question. Why do you think, because you've been through both sides, why do you think the majority of us need that tragedy in order to awaken? And have you changed your perspective on maybe how to empower clients and readership as to why it's so important not to wait for a near-death experience in order to really get this life?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think people often get caught up on the daily whatever's happening, right? I need a job. So, oh, okay, I'll take this job for now. And you settle into that. Oh, I met this girl. She's okay. Oh, she got pregnant. you know, you follow the life that I'm just that's a bad scenario, but I'm just saying sometimes you just accept and go, okay, yeah, we'll get married and have 6 kids, and I would that be the person that you would have spent the rest of your life with? I don't know, maybe. But could you make it the best? Or do you need to make a decision that you need to live the life you were meant to live? So I think that we get caught on that hamster wheel of life, just doing that daily grind and accepting life as it comes to us and happens to us instead of taking charge and creating the life that we want. I wish, like I am an addict when it comes to um, personal development and just learning more and like hearing different people's perspective on creating and manifesting and living your best life and all those. And I wish I would have had that at 18 years old, right? Can you imagine if you were subjected to that at that young age and started creating the life you know, I look back and so many of the choices I made might have been different. And then I look at all the blessings that I have in my life. And I think that is a huge thing when um, every day I take time in the morning and I do just a quiet, peaceful time to reflect. I do gratitudes and then I kind of do affirmations of putting it out there. And that's where, you know, sometimes it's prayers, sometimes it's um, picturing the future, but having those quiet times, I don't think I took very many quiet times. I was the one that was go, go, go all the time, never stopped. The busier I think I felt, the busier I was, the more productive I was. And sometimes well, I definitely know now, taking that time to have a quiet time to reflect, sometimes you get more done. You know, you can be way more productive in taking that time for yourself and getting rid of the clutter. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. I just recently wrote an article outside of the beautiful Sinette magazine that she produces, and it was all about slowing down in order to speed up. But
Yeah.
that reflection time, it's just again, you went through such a unique experience that the average person doesn't go through, yet many do. And I think it's such a beautiful space to be in, to really speak with that authenticity of what it is to come out the other side and really get it differently than those of us that think we get it,
Mhm.
but you get it differently. So thank you. I love the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Let
Thank you.
me add one more thing to your thought there. We all, you know, mine was extreme, but how
Yeah.
many of us have gone to the grocery store and got into a fender bender or car accident or not come home from the grocery store? And that's
Yeah.
where we have to take every day and think of what what can today be. And I actually have a saying on my wall here, and it says, what if today goes better than I could have imagined? What if we
Yeah.
woke up with that thought every day? And what does that mean for you? Does that mean, happy time with friends, or mother-daughter time, or just a quiet, peaceful meditation in the middle of your day? Yeah.
Thank you, my beautiful Natalie. So before I continue to tell you about my favorite spot, thank you, Laura. I want to do a shout out to Crystal Rose. She's one of our panelists. She cannot be here today. And we just want to send a light and love and praise for her and her daughter. So yes to you, Crystal. Mwah. So, my beautiful Natalie, first of all, I love your dedication you did for Steve and the children. And remember, I was the privilege to meet and be in your house and meet your family. And by reading what you said to them, my heart even loved them and you even more. But what I wanted to mention something. Your chapter one, you have done a beautiful quotation. You said your legacy is the gift of stories, life lessons, and experience that will light the way for future generations to have peace in their hearts and a desire to create their impact in the world. And because me and your word of the year is impact, this quote was for me so I can actually say miraculous, if I may use the word. I'm going to ask you now a question. I just wanted to say, when I turned around and I saw this picture of you and Steve,
The
it
two
was,
Canadians.
I could not stop laughing. It was so funny. But to come back to your quote, desire to create the impacts in their life. I do believe that when you tell your story and generations, they are going through the same things, relationship, hardship. But if you can relate your story in your blueprint and,
Mhm.
and document it or video call it for your children, they can learn from that. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for show not even everything in your book but in your poem. That how do you feel, especially if you think about your beautiful grandmother that is 105, because
Yes.
she lived and she's still living and doing things. How, what has her life impact had on you?
So much. So my grandmother uh, had a grade 8 education. So on most people's standards, they would say she's probably not that educated. She's one of the smartest women that I know. And she, her magic power, her superpower is that wherever she is, she's in the present and she's with you, and you're the most important thing in her world. And we found that out at her 100th birthday party. There was about 200 of us in a room, and all the cousins and great grandchildren and just all over the place. And she loves the kids. She didn't want to hang out with the adults. She was like in with the kids and just loving it. And we were watching her, and there was a couple of my cousins about my age, and my one cousin says, you know, I think I was grandma's favorite. And my other cousin goes, you were not, I was. And I was laughing and I was going, I thought I was. And so I'm like, that's typical. That's typical that my grandma could make us all feel like we were her favorite and that we mattered so much. And she still does this today. Like when we were putting her legacy book together, we interviewed her for the first part. And then she had 8 children, raised 8 children. And the stories she would tell us, there was no refrigerator. You went out and there was a hole in the ground lined with ice from the ocean. And that was the refrigerator. Can you imagine? Let me go get the goat's milk that I had to milk for my son to drink, and just, oh, she made her jams and jellies and breads, and the washing machine was like scrubbing it and then hanging it. I'm thinking, we are so spoiled. We are so spoiled in our generation, right? But then I look at the simple times and the the community. Like I remember going to her house and baking cookies, and we would go and deliver cookies to probably 5 or 6 houses just because we bake cookies. That's just standard. It's community and making, and it came back to them a hundredfold. And so I think seeing how she lived her life hardworking, loving everyone, and in her generation, she did see a lot. And what I would have to say is, on a standpoint of being racist, my grandma could point out differences and she would love on it and just like bring that aspect of they do it this way and they do this, so we're going to go bring them this to add to their ceremony or whatever, like she just grasped onto how people are different and how people are similar, and she would help any of them, take them into her home, and it was nothing for her to whip up a meal for like 30 or 40 of us, and she was just amazing, and still is today at 105. I said, Grandma.
Ooh, getting some glasses.
Right? She is. Yeah. Yeah. She's just
She's
amazing. And
shining. Woo-hoo.
so,
Wow.
sorry, I
Thank
don't remember if I'm answering a question right now.
Oh yeah.
you did, and it was so beautiful. Thank you, my beautiful Natalie. All over to you, my miracle man.
So you mentioned something that I want to pick up again called the legacy list, because I know you do workshops on this and you coach, but I want to people to understand that you provide a framework. Okay. And I'm going to read it and I'm going to have you comment. And then I actually already started customizing my own. This is
Okay.
how easy it is. So you divide it into sections: accomplishment and attributes, relationships and in the environment, career and your mission, travel and experiences, time and money, physical and mental body, lifestyle and giving back. I want to add one called hardships and overcoming, and the list keeps going. And
Yeah.
that's you give people such a starter. So I'm sure you've seen a zillion lists, but any interesting ones come to mind that you can refer?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to those regrets, right? If you're like, I want to be
Mm.
remembered as the best grandma in the world, or I want to be remembered as a community leader or someone that is involved in the community, but you never go out and even take part in things. That's where, when we sit back and go, what do we really want? And if that's really what you want, what are the steps to get there? So if you want to be the best grandma in the world, you may want to spend some time with the grandkids, right? You may want to find out what their likes and dislikes are, and then spend that quality time together and be interested in what they're interested in, and then maybe share. It depends what age, but some of the stories of what it was like in your time, and the cook, like the recipes. You're exactly right, Sinette. When when my grandma dies, her recipes will go with her. And so, like for my family right now, we are putting together a family recipe book, and it's not necessarily our own recipes that we've made or like created the full recipe. It's going to be the McQueen favorites. And
Mhm.
so all of us are going to pick, we did the bunch of categories that we're going to pick in, and then we are all going to do 5 or 6 per category. So it's kind of our top favorites of over the years, because sometimes it's like, oh, my daughter makes this amazing avocado salad. So once again, what if something happened and you just don't have those? And then what a beautiful keepsake that we have them all together in full color And then if you want to write a little history of that, our traditions, like for us, one of the things was when we decorate for Christmas, we have the music cranked on full, Christmas carols, and there is sparkles from like floor to ceiling, and we're like the Griswolds. We love to celebrate. And we would never think to do it like it's so funny. I was talking to another lady and she has sons. So maybe I'm blessed with daughters that like to decorate, but she has two sons and she's like, "You guys do what? That sounds so fun." And so I'm like, "Oh, I'll come help you decorate." Because that's the beauty of sharing our experiences. Because something that we do in our family, you may go, "Oh my gosh, my family would love that." And pick it up and make your family better, make your traditions better. I I work with a lot of men, and I'm always trying to keep them on their good sides of their wives. And so one of the things, my husband is so good at getting meaningful gifts. And one of them was this note cube, and inside had handwritten, or not handwritten, his typed out meaningful, uh, just things he likes, special times, memories, and stuff. I mean, I laughed, I cried, I was going through them, and it was like such a meaningful little thing. So that day I spoke to Buddy, I spoke to Robert. I'm like, write this down. This is Christmas. This is Mother's Day. This is like if you're in trouble. Yeah, it's the get out of jail free card. It's such a beautiful gift. So I think when we share good things that happen in our life, we can help others enhance their life. And that's where I love, learning about other cultures and doing things that you can add in.
Well, I love it. And so you got to make it back to me, Sunette, because I have the speed round and one other thing that I need to share. So,
Okay.
So we're going to
Okay.
go to Laura and then we can go to you for the speed round.
okay.
I have so many more questions. And then as you're talking, Natalie, there's more questions upon the questions. But I have a question I'll focus on. I loved how you added in the poem, The Dash, right, by Linda Ellis. I
Yeah.
love that you included this in for many reasons, which some you've already touched upon. I'm curious how you empower your dash now that you didn't do before.
Oh, for sure. So I think it goes back to kind of what we talked about. I now have some very clear things on my legacy list that I want to complete. And I also want to make an impact on certain people that are in my life and really make those relationships amazing. So I would say, um, like for my husband and I, we try to do uh, two, so 4 date nights a month. Two I plan, two he plans. Often one is planned out, so you don't know what you're doing. And I love to surprise him and pull him out of his comfort zone. Like one time, you just tell him what to wear, and then he doesn't know where we're going. So one time we went kayaking. Um, Another time, he planned. Oh my gosh, this was hilarious. He's probably going to die that I'm telling this, but he planned. I had cards, and I had to go to each of these stores and pick up stuff, and then the end destination was a hotel getaway. It was just a local. And so we get there, and the last card said, "Park in front of this restaurant, go in and sit at a certain table away." So I walk in, he's sitting at the bar. And I'm like, okay. So I went and sat at the table. He picked me up that night. It was so fun. And the waiters were like, whoa, do you see the synergy going between these two? It was so fun.
Scavenger hunt. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's inventive. Very creative.
Right.
Woo-hoo.
So keeping things exciting and I love those glasses. And taking time to enjoy life takes a little planning, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
I love it. What a beautiful way to empower the listeners. It what just the simplicity of connection to
Yep.
right where you are in the moment. And boy, does that make the dash worthwhile. Thank you.
Creating life experiences. And I'll give you an
Yeah.
example because we just got back. One of the things that was on our bucket list, legacy list, is we love Dave Matthews, and we wanted to see him at the Gorge in Washington. It's this beautiful venue up looking over the water. And oh, it's just so beautiful. And so we have been planning this for probably 10 years. And so last year we're like,
Wow.
okay, next year's the Gorge. And so we planned it and we went there and we had back to back concerts with Dave Matthews. And we were just like, oh, check. So we've done it. Yeah. It will be an experience we remember.
Awesome. Thank you. On to Mr. Howard Brown.
So I wanted to just take a moment because, and just say a moment of gratitude, because as you're putting on your publishing hat and putting on your writing hat, you introduced me to the art of connection. And that is how I met Sinette, by reading
Great.
her section on Smile. And now she's become one of my dearest, closest friends. We joint venture, we're helping each other. And it happened because of you. And I just want to show some gratitude, because if you didn't convince me that I needed to keep writing and my book was lonely on Amazon, that I wouldn't be
I
here
love
right
when you
now.
say that.
Well, it was true. I remember you pulled up the screen. And then not only do you actually walk the walk, you talk the talk, because you have a section in Sinette's book as well, and it's just incredible and the amount of influence you've had on me has been profound. And the people that I've met inside Art of Connection has just that community. It wasn't writing the section that was beautiful, and being a best-selling, international best-selling author in 84 categories in 7 countries, that's exciting. But it's the people that you've brought me into. And I just wanted you to, just from the bottom of my heart, say that I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Howard.
So,
You know what? I cherish our friendship, and I look at the people that we're connected to, and it's like good-hearted people that want to make a difference in the world. And that's why I always say, like, what are you doing in the world to make it a better place, and how can we come along?
and so I got to see you, in the Phoenix area, and then I had a truck on the speed train up to visit you in Times Square when you're doing a book launch on the Jumbo, and I got about 45 minutes with you, Krista, and Sinette, and then I left my glasses that made it all the way back to South Africa. And so Sinette calls me, what do you want me to do with those? I go, keep them. Keep them. I love
And
my
if I may
glasses.
say, very quickly, Howard Brown is actually paying it forward, because I am in the new
That's right.
series, the book, and
Awesome.
there's so much. And this is the beauty and the power of storytelling and authorship, and why we're doing this. It's exactly like you said, we're living what we're speaking.
Yeah.
Right. And so is
that.
Krista Rose and our beautiful editor and our other author journey buddy, Thornton, as
Yep.
well. So, all right. So here we go. We're going to do a speed round. I'm going to mention some words, and then you're going to tell me what you feel. And some of these words, they've percolated throughout your book. So the first thing is appreciation.
Gratitude, appreciation. Look at the little things in your everyday life and just be happy that they're there. And it doesn't matter what level. Like if you're looking at the car and you're like, I wish it was a Mercedes or whatever, stop it. Be appreciative for what you have now.
Paparazzi.
Paparazzi moment. She's been waiting to do that.
I'm like, is she going to spray us? I didn't know
She's
what
got
it
all the
was.
toys, all the shiny toys. So
I
the
love it.
next, all right, the next one is family.
Uh,
Mm.
family is everything, but family is what you make it as well. Because I think you can't pick your family, right? And there's many people that maybe aren't as blessed, but I think because we've made family our focus and tried to encourage one another, support one another, and have those family experiences that we'll all remember. There's hard times, there's good times, bad times, sad times, but we all come together in love and know that we're there for each other.
I love it. Wow. Again, paparazzi moment. All right, the next one is traditions.
Oh, I love traditions. I told you a little bit about our crazy
You
Christmas
did.
traditions. But and the recipe book, we see the value of preserving things and doing things that are meaningful. Traditions, I would say, can be as something like consistent date nights. It's something that you truly bring into your life and you can learn from other families. I met a young girl and she didn't have her own traditions. Her family just, was kind of lost. And when she came and experienced some of the traditions in our family, she's like, you know what? I'm going to have those traditions in my family. So she will make a difference in the next generation because she's got to experience what it could be. And that's where we need to learn from each other so we can have the more experiences.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, every word's a paparazzi moment. So the last one is living your legacy.
Mm.
Mhm.
Live your legacy. So you need to create it first and then
Mhm.
actively put a plan together, which is in my blueprint, to plan it, put it into action, and then start living it every day. And that's where little things like when I was writing my book, um, my editor, and it wasn't Buddy at the time because I didn't know Buddy, um, she said, do you know Hal Elrod? And I said, no. And she said, you write a little bit like the Miracle Morning with your morning routine. I said, oh, let me go check it out. She goes, no, don't. Finish your book, write what you, don't be influenced by what he does. And so after my book was done and published, I checked it out and I love his Miracle Morning. And I do a combination of what I say and what he does. And it starts the day so strong that you are committed. And that's my next year's word is you're committed to living your best life. You're committed to making a difference and you're committed to make the world a better place.
Wow.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, my beautiful Howard. My beautiful Natalie, how do you feel the
you.
session was?
Aw. How can I feel anything but amazing surrounded by you guys? I mean, I love you guys and I really appreciate your comments. Laura's glasses. Yeah. And
Wow.
it
So,
feels really nice that you got different aspects and different things out of my book that you can take and use into your own lives, right? Yeah.
beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. Oh, look there. So I'm going to quickly ask you to put on your glasses, everyone, because I'm going to take a photo and then I am going to say to beautiful, my miracle man, thank you so much for being here. Oh, Laura, quickly. Thank you so much, my beautiful ones. And then thank you, my beautiful Laura, for being here. And then, my beautiful Natty, it's amazing to have you as our spotlight author. Thank you, and thank you for being in my life and loving me. So, my beautiful viewers on E360, Did you get some tips and tidbits? Do you think that you can do your own legacy blueprint? If so, then good for you. But if not, please go and buy a copy of beautiful Nick and Natalie's book. You will not know what all golden nuggets is in here. So please go and buy her book, and then we will ask you, please do a review, because our authors love to find out what other people think. If you can take a few minutes to do a review, we will be like this.
Woo-hoo. Yep. Thank
We will be so happy. So, my beautiful viewers out there, give me 1 second. My beautiful miracle man, my beautiful empowerment lady, and my beautiful legacy queen. Will you have a dance with me?
Yes, of course.
Of course.
Oh, thank you, my beautiful one. But now it's time to ask the viewers, our beautiful viewers on E360, will you have a dance with us? They said yes. They said yes. Yay!
Woohoo!
Here we go. Woo!
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with love. From butterflies to eagles, oh, there's magic in that flight. Sprinkle me with
Wow. Thank you for dancing, my beautiful, beautiful guest and my beautiful spotlight author. Thank you for dancing with us. So today I've got the outro video and I'm going to see if it's going to work. So my beautiful Natalie and Laura and Howard, you can say goodbye and then I'm going to press the button.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
Natalie.
everyone.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Bye.
Bye,
Mwah.
Crystal. Mwah. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't want to play.
Should we sing?
We try.
Started.
Bye, everyone. It doesn't want to play. Bye.
Yeah.